And the union for the Austin Fire Department plans to host a no confidence vote for their fire chief, and the issue, how Chief Joel Baker responded to the recent flooding in Kerrville. The Austin Firefighters Association claims Chief Baker delayed sending firefighters to help with rescue efforts in Kerrville until it was too late. We're going to hear from the union president about the decision at 11 a.m. today. KVUE reached out to Chief Baker for comment, and he responded with a statement that says, in part, quote, "The Austin Fire Department must also prioritize having sufficient resources in our own community, given the unpredictability of this weekend's storms and the risk for catastrophic flooding in our immediate area," end quote. Chief Baker's statement also said that AFD did deploy some resources to help Kerr County, including 3 rescue swimmers.
The city of Austin has extended the watercraft ban until noon today. That means no jet skis, kayaks, canoes, or paddle boards on Barton Creek, Bull Creek, Lake Austin from Mansfield Dam to Tom Miller Dam, Lady Bird Lake, and the Colorado River downstream of Longhorn Dam.
And KVUE and our sister stations across the state have launched the Tegna Texas Flood Relief Fund to raise money for flood recovery. Scan the QR code on your screen now to make a donation. You can also text donate to the number on your screen, 459-9442. We're going to send you a text message with a link to donate, and we're partnering with the Communities Foundation of Texas to get assistance right to where it's needed most. Hannah.
We want to help each other during this time, and I want to help you on the roadways. Please be extra vigilant. We still have a lot of closures, over 90 to be exact, across our region heading out the door this morning. As far as Main Austin Metro traffic goes, we are looking pretty good on I-35, 183, Mopac. But you know, Casey, we're not out of the woods yet, and that all comes down to this forecast today.
It does. You know, still some pockets of heavy rain today and tomorrow, but the focus is going to be away from those areas that had the catastrophic rain. East and along I-35, I still think some decent downpours across the metro area. Could be picking up an additional 1 to 3 inches, but the focus is at least going to be off the hill country today. Thursday and Friday will be drying things out. By the weekend, we will be looking at some isolated showers and storms. Right now, that rain chance at only a 20% chance. It's warm, it's humid. Heat index values today climbing to the upper 90s, and then eventually we'll be back into those middle 90s with triple-digit heat index values by the end of the work week.
All right, feel free to hop on to KVUE Plus. Daybreak Plus continues for another hour.
Thanks for being with us. Hope you have a great day. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning. Good Tuesday morning. Thanks for joining us here on Daybreak Plus, streaming for free on your television. I'm Brian Mays.
And I'm Yvonne Nava. We've got Hannah Rucker and Casey Sherman. Let's talk about the forecast, though, starting off. You're saying that it seems like things are going to be okay for the areas where we need it to stay dry for the cleanup and the recovery efforts. So that's going to be pretty good. What areas are going to see some rain today?
So it'll be, I think, still across I-35 for metro zones. Yeah, we will be watching for some showers and storms, but the higher chances are really going to be out across the coastal plains east of I-35, which, yeah, they got in some rain over the holiday weekend, but they didn't see the kind of rainfall totals that they had up in areas like Burnett County, western Williamson, western Travis County, areas like Mason County. So they can still take the rain, and we will be tracking some decent downpours today that could be producing a quick 1 to possibly even up to 3 inches of rain from some of those showers and storms. Nice to look at a nice dry radar, though. We are waking up to no active flood warnings, no active flood watches. That flood watch was allowed to expire yesterday evening, and we are not going to be looking at that implemented again for today, as again, we're finally starting to trend towards this drier direction. Our moisture source today is going to be coming in out of the Gulf. We've been tracking a couple showers kind of approaching the coast of Texas. These will eventually be kind of heading in our direction as we head into this afternoon, where we should be looking at some showers and storms. The Austin area, better chances will be between the hours of around 4 o'clock through 6 p.m. this evening. Showers and storms could still see some heavy downpours, but again, at least the focus is going to be off of those areas that dealt with the catastrophic rain, the hardest hit areas that we had over this holiday weekend. 30 to 40% chance out across the coastal plains. Those rain chances higher the farther east you go, lower the farther west you go, out across the hill country. Highs today, 92 degrees, spotty afternoon thunderstorms. I am still tracking more rounds of what will be additional showers and storms as we head into tomorrow, which I'll be taking a look at in just a bit and show you the drying trend that we have in store as we get closer to the end of the week coming up.
Oh goodness, we do need it to dry out, so thank you for sharing some good news there for us. It is 7:03. Let's talk more about some of the driving concerns and kind of the current conditions right now. Taking a live look, as you can see, pretty sleepy on I-35 near 56th Street, where we usually start to see some of those slowdowns. In Round Rock, we do have some closures surrounding the Dell Diamond and still 96 closures across the map. As for current conditions, though, we do have 3 different crashes, one in this Allendale neighborhood here on Koenig Lane and Arroyo, causing some slowdowns. Looks like mainly in the eastbound lanes, but a little something in the westbound lanes as well. We also have a crash in South Austin, Stastny Lane at Burleson Road, and a separate crash right outside of the Tesla Gigafactory on Tesla Road at FM 973. Talking more about the closures, seeing those widespread, of course, out near the Guadalupe River along Highway 39 and 27 in Kerrville. In Mason County, a handful of closures still active. 377 you can see through the Streeter area and kind of on some of these county roads as well. Also seeing that in along Williamson County and Georgetown along the San Gabriel River. And like I said, outside of the Dell Diamond on Harrell Parkway and County Road 123. Last but not least, a major note there is, of course, the bridge on 1431 with travel from Lago Vista to Marble Falls. The bridge washed away, and TxDOT will be on scene today, getting that repaired as quickly as possible.
Well, the search efforts continue in Burnett County for the Marble Falls fire chief who went missing Saturday while trying to rescue people from the flooding.
So far, 4 people have been reported to have died from flooding in that area. KVUE's Malia Masamoto joins us live this morning from near Marble Falls with the latest on that search. And Malia, you've seen that area this morning now that the sun has come up. Boy, there's a lot of damage there as well.
Brian and Yvonne, that is right. We are seeing even more of it as the sun is getting brighter this morning. And we're also seeing residents coming and starting to clear out some of that debris. We actually saw a small little bulldozer. Actually, here comes a little bit of a larger one starting to clear away some of these tree limbs. We also saw a resident taking an ATV that was pushed up against the trees. He's loading that onto a trailer right now. You can probably see in this picture too that this other truck is pushed up against the trees from those flood waters. It's just a lot of damage throughout this whole area. Really sad to see that these people's lives here, damaged like that. But there's also rescuing operations still going on in this area. The rescue teams are trying to find one person, and a Marble Falls volunteer fire chief, Michael Phelps, Now, they say he was swept away by floodwaters while trying to rescue people from the flooding this weekend. He was last seen in southern Burnett County early Saturday. Now, the search started after first responders found the vehicle that Phillips was driving without him in it. Yesterday, the Burnett County Sheriff Calvin Boyd said the terrain of this area has made their search more challenging.
Yeah, this is difficult. It's a hill country, and plus with all the debris that the flood brought downstream, we're having to helicopter a lot of these people in, and with the humidity and the heat, it doesn't take long for these folks to get wore out, and so we're having to shuffle people in, every couple of hours down there.
Well, yesterday, a helicopter was searching along Hamilton Creek. So far, first responders have been able to rescue 62 people in the county here. The sheriff has said with all the rain that this area has been getting over the last few days, they haven't yet been able to bring in horses or ATVs, which usually really helps with these recovery efforts. So now that the rain is subsiding, they're going to be able to really use those resources, and they say they are not stopping until they find those 2 last people. Reporting live in Marble Falls, Malia Masmoto, KVUE News.
Malia, thank you so much. In Travis County, a man is searching for his parents. The flood destroyed their home along Big Sandy Creek.
All of these stories just so sad, so difficult. The man says he hasn't heard from his parents since back over the weekend when the flooding began. KVUE's Brianna Perez joins us live in northwest Travis County, where just another tragic story, Brianna, and you've seen a lot of destruction in that part of the county as well.
Oh yeah, Brian, Yvonne, the destruction doesn't really stop here. If you could imagine, just where I'm standing right now, a couple of days ago, feet underwater, just entire part of me would be underwater right now, just well above my head as well. I want to show you here off to the right, we do see that there are 2 flatbed trailers that have also been impacted by that rushing water. Now they've landed here near the creek. We also see just trees uprooted rather. Family photos left behind. We see clothing here and just lots of sheet metal as well. Just a really devastating scene to see here. One family though does tell me they will stop at nothing to find their loved ones. Neighbors say at around 2:30 in the morning on July 5th, heavy rain began filling up Big Sandy Creek. They say waters rose quickly and began flooding the homes of people nearby. Wesley Daly says his parents' trailer was gone by the time he came to check on them the next day. He says he's been searching for them ever since. He says their red car was washed up against a house a mile away and is the only thing giving him hope right now that they're alive. Daly says that it all happened so suddenly.
Yeah, my parents, they're important in our lives. So they have grandkids and they have both fought their medical issues, but they love their family and they weren't ready to go.
He says the water was in park, or the car rather was in park with no keys in the ignition, and the front windshield was kicked out, giving them hope that they are still alive. Now authorities are urging anybody that knows anybody or that has seen any missing people rather to go ahead and contact Travis County Sheriff's Office. Of course, search and rescue efforts will continue in this area as well as throughout the county. For now, reporting in Leander, Brianna Perez, KVUE News.
Brianna, as you're out there reporting, what has just kind of stuck with you or stuck out to you the most?
You know what, Yvonne, I will say that coming from El Paso, Texas, I've never seen this much water really. And so all of this is just really it's hard for me to wrap my mind around how all of this has really impacted the community. But coming out here and seeing and even just smelling some of the things here, it kind of puts you in the place where I couldn't imagine being somebody when the water was rushing in where I'm standing right now. Really, it's just, you can't tell what you're feeling until you're here, until you're actually seeing all the devastation. And
I bet, Brianna, it's really hard to comprehend that it rose so fast and was so destructive, and then it was gone, the water I'm talking about, and much of that river right where you're standing. It's hard to understand how fast and how powerful that water was there.
You know what, Brian, and that's exactly what I was telling my photographer, Kenneth, here. I was just saying that, you know what, I was asking him, it was higher than my head, and he said 100%. You know, this water was higher than, you know, what I can see the trees here off to my left side here. You can just tell how high that water got, and it's really incredible because you can't imagine really how it could have been there. It's hard for you to wrap your brain around how that can come and go so quickly, but of course just devastating for anybody in this area, and really, you know, just praying for everybody and all their families. Hopefully they find everybody that is missing out there.
Yes, our thoughts and prayers go out to those families impacted. What are you seeing out there, or some things that you said in the wreckage? You saw some photos and stuff like that, just personal effects?
Yeah, right now when we stepped near the car, we did see some family photos, and they were wet, right? Still some of that water, a lot of damage to those photos. We did see a walker inside of that car there, inside that vehicle. We see some socks on the floor. I saw some kitchen utensils just walking through here. And it's just, you know, it, again, just kind of puts you in that, you know, in that moment that, you know, what were these people going through? And just kind of gives you a little bit, you know, chills. It makes you really sad, really, to see that this is something that, you know, could have taken lots of lives and did take lots of lives. So definitely just, you know, really hoping that these people are found very, very soon.
Thank you so much.
Brianna Perez, great reporting out there this morning. Thank you for being out there for us and sharing those stories. I know a lot of focus is on Kerr County, as it should be, but a lot of people in this area, right here in our area, are suffering too, and it's tough to see. It's really hard to understand too the amount of damage that was done so quickly, but yet the recovery and rebuild is going to take so much time, months if not years, before some of these areas are back to where they were before the weather happened over the weekend.
Just thinking about that bridge, 1431,
yeah.
I mean, that one's going to take quite some time, and for those people who are going to be kind of landlocked, kind of trying to, you know, there's no kind of connection to where they need to go, and this is just going to impact so many people, and it already is, but it will continue to impact people for years to come.
In our work, we always try to find a silver lining, and
I don't see
there's really not much of a silver lining that we've been able to find, and that's why we're sharing these stories so everyone can do what they can to help out. We know now that more than 100 people were killed as a result of the catastrophic flooding that we saw both in the Hill Country and here in the Austin area. More than 20 people now we know of are still unaccounted for.
And authorities have rescued more than 500 people, as ABC's Christian Cordero reports. There are new questions, though, about the severe weather alert system and how we receive urgent warnings.
In the Texas Hill Country this morning, response teams, both official and volunteer, are combing through mud and dense forest, searching for answers.
It's one of the most devastating things I've ever seen in my life. But that devastation goes 80 miles down the Guadalupe River. And that devastation goes anywhere from 3/4 of a mile to half a mile wide off of the river as well.
More than 100 people died in the floods that swelled riverbanks over the weekend. Camp Mystic, where at least 27 campers and counselors died, said their hearts are broken alongside the families, calling the floods an unimaginable tragedy. Among the victims, 8-year-old twin sisters Hannah and Rebecca Lawrence, whose grandfather said their joy can never be forgotten. 8-year-old Anna Margaret Bellows was also at Camp Mystic. Her mom spoke with our Houston station, KTRK.
The main thing I want to convey is that our whole group is so grateful for the counselors who loved our children and protected them until the very end.
In the wake of the storm, questions about the level of preparedness across the region. ABC News has learned the National Weather Service had surge staffing in place during the storm. 5 meteorologists were working when there are usually 2. Alerts started the day before the floods, with the first flash flood warning issued around 1 a.m. day of. The first flash flood emergency, 4 a.m. That is not what woke Stuart Gross from bed.
What was it that woke you up?
The fire department.
It wasn't the alert on your phone?
Officials canceled a press conference yesterday afternoon amid questions about the area's alert system.
It's very tough to make those calls because what we also don't want to do is cry wolf.
Several meteorologists urge everyone get a NOAA weather radio as a more reliable way to receive alerts when your cell phone or local sirens don't work. It doesn't require cell service, is battery powered, and can cost less than $30. Christian Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
So very important to get that weather radio. I know Casey has mentioned it multiple times, the importance of that. Governor Greg Abbott will be in Kerrville today. Governor Abbott and Speaker Dustin Burrows will take an aerial tour of the damage caused by the flooding, as well as visit Camp Mystic. A briefing will follow with updates on response to the flooding, and that briefing is scheduled for 5 p.m.
City of Austin expanding the ban on watercraft until later today to try and keep people safe. Kayaks, canoes, paddleboards, motorboats, really anything not allowed on waterways until further notice. That's going to be later today, probably. Barton Creek, Bull Creek, Lake Austin, Lady Bird Lake, Colorado River downstream of Longhorn Dam. And no watercraft allowed. Officials say runoff from this past weekend's heavy rainfall created high, swift water. And of course, it's filled with dangerous debris. That's the big thing. City also warning people to stay off riverfront trails for now. They could flood and could be some damage there as well because of the water levels that we've seen here in the area.
And the deadly floods have left a trail of devastation.
Lives lost. We've talked about homes destroyed, many communities in crisis. And joining us now is Dwight Bailey Jr. with the Austin Disaster Relief Network. Thankfully, there are people like this man and his organization to help out. So let's start with this. First of all, thanks for being with us. What can people do to help out?
Thank you so much for having me. I would say number one, as y'all have been saying as well, is pray. I mean, these first responders and the things that they are going through is just overwhelming. We were at a church here. I'm actually here in Kerrville this morning. We were here yesterday and just talking to a man a team that's prepared to support the first responders. So praying for them, thinking about them, so important. But also we have ways that you can get involved at adrn.org, Central Texas Flood, and you can give financially so that we're prepared to respond. We are committed to the recovery side of things and just preparing volunteers. There's hundreds of volunteers that have signed up. They're registered. They're ready to go. We're waiting to just deploy. And so we're ready to get in and try to take care of some of the cleanup efforts that are so significant.
So obviously, for those who aren't familiar with Austin Disaster Relief Network, you obviously kind of aggregate all of the volunteers and kind of disperse them out. And anything else that you're doing in order to really just respond to the recent flooding, aside from the support with volunteers? What else are you all offering flood victims?
Absolutely. Well, we do physical, emotional, and spiritual care is what we do. And so we get involved with critical incident stress management. So helping those survivors who have walked through some of these traumatic experiences. And so there will be multi-agency resource centers, at least 2 that we know that are coming. That information will be available on our website, and folks can go and we can prepare for intakes to try to help people walk through just some of the devastation and the trauma that they are experiencing, and hopefully connect them to churches and to other organizations where they get the longer term support that they need as a result of all of this.
Dwight Bailey Jr. with the Austin Disaster Relief Network. What is it like? I know people are going through the worst event of their lives. Many have lost loved ones, everything, their homes, their cars, things like that. What do you tell someone in that situation? What could we maybe take from you today to help deal with what these people are going through?
Absolutely. We ran into a young man yesterday. It seems like everyone is connected to someone who's lost someone or something like that. So close to home. And the young man shared with us that his coach of 4 years passed away. He's seen that in the news, and his wife. And so just to be present with someone, we ask a question oftentimes at the very end of some of our conversations with folks: is there anything good that you can see come out of this? And I'm pretty overwhelmed to hear people say that I'm not alone, that there are people who are standing with me and are going to be with me as I continue to navigate each and every difficult day ahead.
You know, it's so important to understand that grief isn't linear. Like, grief kind of has ups and downs. And so that's definitely something that's so important that you explain to them as well, right? Is this something that you're really trying to stress as well?
Absolutely. And we all grieve differently. And so giving permission and space for people to grieve as they need to. And I know we also have some access to some counseling resources that we just found out yesterday. So we're going to be referring folks to those kinds of resources as well, where that's available.
All right. Again, can you just tell us the website, where people can go? I know people are watching right now that are desperate to do anything they can to help out, and this is a fantastic. You think a lot about replacing the physical items, but this is an important part of dealing with tragedy as well. Where can people go to help out?
Yes, you bet. At adrn.org/Central Texas Flood. And again, there's volunteer opportunities, there's remote opportunities. I mean, I just believe everybody can do something. And so you can go there. If there are cleanup needs, you can sign up. Our hotline is there. Folks are taking calls to prepare and open cases. And again, hundreds of volunteers are preparing even to deploy this weekend to begin some of that recovery work.
Dwight Bailey Jr. with the Austin Disaster Relief Network. You're doing such important work out there. We really commend you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wow.
You think about it, you're right. It's not just the physical things that you need and the material things. It's just also mentally. I mean, you're even saying, we're trying to give the information, but then when it's time to you have to decompress sometimes. You can't just be on that altered, state.
Thank God there are people like him and his organization and all the people that rush to help and donate money. And there's just so many ways these people are going to need help. And there are a lot of people willing to provide that help. And it's just heartening to hear. I guess we talked just a moment ago about a silver lining.
Yeah.
And there we are.
There we go.
I mean, there is a small silver lining that we've been looking to see in people like that. Definitely making a huge difference.
And it doesn't even have to be face-to-face kind of help. He said also you could just, online, they can just chat on the phone.
It's important. It's a big, big thing they're doing. All right, we've got a quick weather and traffic update coming on the TV side. We're going to take a short break here streaming, but we'll be back with more news here on Daybreak Plus in just a few minutes. Stay with us.
Good Tuesday morning, Central Texas. Your time now is 7:23, and I know it has been many sleepless nights for our community. So let's take a look as far as current driving conditions go. Looking a lot better in the Austin Metro and our major highways, but I will tell you, we still have 96 closures across the region, and some of those flooding issues still at play. Of course, out towards Hunt and Kerr County along 39 and the Guadalupe River, that is still going to be closed for a good while as they're doing those recovery efforts there. Highway 27 in Kerrville, that is still going to be active. Out in Mason County, we still have a wide range of closures here along 377 through that Streeter area. That is still at play. And then closer to the Austin area, taking a look in Georgetown, of course, along the San Gabriel River, they are still looking for a person out there. And that's another thing. I mean, across our region, we still have a lot of people that are missing. In the Round Rock area, Harold Parkway, County Road 123, both still closed. And that 1431 bridge washed away. TxDOT out there today hoping to repair and really create a new one as quickly as they can. Casey, what are we working with our radar today?
Nice and dry this morning. We will see the return of showers and storms by this afternoon, but good to see a dry radar. No flood watches, no active flood warnings across the area right now. We will be watching for those rain chances ticking up by this afternoon. For the Austin area, I would expect it to be between about 3 to 6 o'clock. We'll be featuring our highest chance for some spotty showers and storms. The good news is our focus today is going to be away from our hardest hit areas from this weekend's rain. It's going to be along and east of I-35, coastal plains. Still could have some downpours that could be bringing a quick 1 to 3 inches of rain on top of what we've already seen, but the hill country, much of it at least getting a good break from the showers and storms. 7-day forecast, more rain and storms for tomorrow. We will start to see some drier conditions return for Thursday and Friday with a few spotty showers as we head into Saturday and Sunday for the weekend.
Welcome back to Daybreak Plus, streaming free on your TV. I'm Yvonne Nava.
And I'm Brian Mays. Our coverage of the deadly flooding in the Texas Hill Country and here in the Austin area continues this morning. Crews will resume searching for missing people in both Burnett County and Travis County later this morning.
And families and search teams say they will not give up. KVUE's Malia Masamoto joins us live from Marble Falls this morning. Malia.
Good morning, Brian and Yvonne. Well, it's been a tough morning seeing all these residents out here. They're already starting to kind of pick up the pieces of what this flooding has left behind. Really just a lot of debris you can see all around. I can see across the whole highway. It's just spread out with things from this RV park here just east of Marble Falls. If you want to look at this car right here next to this RV smashed up into the tree, it is just an unbelievable sight, really, to see that this water did that. Just shows you, like y'all were talking about, how strong and quick this can happen and how devastating that can be. So that is what it's looking like out here. Really shocking to see. But what this county is really focused on today in the last few days has been trying to find people that are missing still. Burnett County leaders say 2 people are missing. That also includes a Marble Falls volunteer fire chief. Now, Fire Chief Michael Phillips was last seen early Saturday in southern Burnett County. He was responding to emergency calls from flooding in this area. Now, first responders have found the vehicle Phillips was driving, but without him in it. Now, yesterday, the Burnett County Sheriff Calvin Boyd said the flooding has also taken out a few bridges, including the one over Cow Creek along FM 1431, which is one of the main roads connecting points between Marble Falls and Lago Vista.
It's in a pretty remote area, which makes it hard to get to. A lot of the low water crossings and bridges are washed out down there. So we're having to helicopter most of that personnel in to do that search.
So far, first responders have been able to rescue 62 people from the county. Sheriff Boyd says they will not stop until the last 2 missing people are found. And the sheriff says they haven't been able to get any horses or ATVs in because of the rain that's continued over the last few days. But now that the rain has been subsiding, it seems more calm in this area. They're going to be able to use those for their search, which is supposed to help them out a lot, to give them really more of a ground coverage of this area and try to find those missing people, because they are on the hunt. They will not stop until they find every person here. Reporting live in Marble Falls, Malia Masamoto, KVUE News.
Malia, you've been out there the past couple days. I mean, really talking to a lot of people about their stories of, of tragedy, and just talking to them about what they're experiencing. Can you kind of share some of those stories? I mean, and let us know what they're saying.
Yeah, Yvonne, I was out where Brianna is today and Leander and that sort of area, and it was just really heartbreaking talking to the people who live out there. One woman was telling me she kind of feels forgotten out there. It is, just such a remote area that many people may not think about, but they have such an established life out there. They have land, this is their area. Some people grew up there. You just think about where each person grew up in their life, and that could be their whole place right there, and just in an instant flooded and taken out. And it's just really hard to hear them talk about this, and just they want help, they want people to care about it, and just, yeah, it's just such a sad experience to really hear that these people's lives were changed in an instant over this weekend.
We talked about the power of that water. From where you're standing, you can see behind you the devastation there. How far is that from the actual river and the water that caused all that damage? How far are you from that?
Yeah, well, we can't even see the water from here, along here, but we can't even see it. So you can just tell how far this has just been pushed. You can see down there is the Hamilton Creek, I believe that is, but it's still quite a ways down. So you can just, it's fast and it's quick and rush through this area, and it's caused a lot of damage. A lot of these cars pushed up against the trees, which is just quite shocking to see how a full vehicle can get moved over by just these rushing waters here.
And how high it rose to be that far. She can't even see. I mean, it's so far away that you can't really even see the water from there, but it rose that far and that fast. Amazing.
And Malia, again, talking about people who live there, there could be nothing worse than feeling like you're forgotten. You know what I mean? And that's your whole world. So, yeah, I could understand how they just feel a little sad about that,
It was really sad. The woman yesterday was just so much emotion, so much frustration. She was telling me she just wanted a hug at this time. There's resources and things that people can do, but just really that human connection and support during these times of help is so important as well. So, yeah.
Well, you've done a wonderful job sharing those stories. Thank you again for being out there for us this morning. Just great work by you, and I know that a lot of people there appreciate the attention that you've brought. That's Malia Masamoto live for us there this morning.
She's been doing her job, but with such compassion and empathy, and that's what we all should have for each other. So,
like what they're going through is not comparable to anything we do at all. I'm not even remotely saying that, but the job she's done is really good out there, and Brianna as well.
Yeah. Well, you know, in Travis County, at least 12 people are still reported missing.
One man says he's actually been looking for his own parents since the flooding over this past weekend. Brianna Perez joins us now once again live. She's still in northwest Travis County where the search is still ongoing there, Brianna. And it's just heartbreaking to hear this man's story, looking for his parents. Hasn't seen them since this weekend, right?
Yeah, hasn't seen them since this weekend, and then kind of looking at everything that we're seeing now that the daylight has really risen up, we can understand the environment that everyone's really in right now. Right now I'm next to this huge boat, but it was moved actually during that flood. This is one out of 4 boats on this entire property here. And just looking at the mud line at some of these trees, you can just tell that this whole place was underwater. Really hard to imagine because this is on top of the hill we're standing. Obviously about 10 feet down is the actual creek where it's at right now. But just imagine how much of force that would have been to move such big items here. But still, that one family member says that he is still holding on hope to his parents, making sure, hoping that they're okay. They say that the waters rose quickly and began flooding the homes of people on July 4th. Wesley Daly says that his parents' trailer was gone by the time he came to check on them the next day. He says he's been searching for them ever since. He says their red car, which washed up against a house about a mile away, is the only thing that's giving him hope right now that they're alive.
Through this, they could have gotten breathing air from this back seat. My dad's window and the back seat windows rolled down halfway. Those sides are up. This now is on the ground, but it was completely, none of the glass was inside. It was completely laid down on the hood with a perfect circle where there was what I would assume, because my dad is that type of guy, just to kick the window out right here. Now, that was the only thing that was giving me any hope.
Just incredibly hard to hear there, but Daly says that he has been combing through debris piles and finding only personal items, including his mother's walker and family photos that are still scattered around this area. And authorities, of course, are urging anybody with any information on any of these missing people to please contact the Travis County Sheriff's Office. Of course, search and rescue efforts will continue to go on in the county, and of course, I'm sure throughout the entire community. For now, reporting in Leander, Brianna Perez, KVUE News.
All right, Brianna, thank you so much.
When you see that devastation, and you hear when we say turn around, don't drown, just a small amount of water, think about that times 100, Casey, and that's what this powerful water, you really understand this is such a dangerous time when the floodwaters rise like that, isn't it?
It is, yeah, and it just happens so quickly. That's why it's always important to have a good way of getting those alerts quickly to you. Weather radios, those no weather radios, are an excellent way of doing so, especially considering the fact that you may not have service at some spots and you don't need it for those weather radios. Out the door right now, we're currently dry, and boy, is it good to see after we've been dealing with all the rain for the past several days. Yesterday evening was the first time that we did not have a flood watch across the area, flood warnings across the area since Thursday evening. It has been Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and at least for the first half of Monday that we've been dealing with these rains across the area. So it's good to see that there is nothing out the door. Temperatures right now currently running in those low to middle 70s. We will continue to watch for what's going to be just a few passing clouds this morning. We will see the return of showers and storms by this afternoon. Thankfully, it's going to avoid the hardest hit areas most likely. Better chances are going to be along and east of I-35. So still some heavier downpours out through areas like Fayette County, Caldwell County, Bastrop County. Thankfully, though, those are not the areas that received rainfall totals of up to and over 20 inches of rain. I still think we could be picking up a quick 1 to 3 inches from today's showers and storms, and a few of them, yes, will be crossing the I-35 corridor, Austin area, close to about 4, 5, 6 o'clock. I know we received a lot of quite a bit of rain. We'll have to watch out for the potential, maybe seeing a couple flood advisories, but these storms will be moving much faster than the ones that essentially didn't move at all rainfall over this holiday weekend. Temperatures today, 92 degrees. We do have some drier conditions on the way for the second half of the week. I will have that in your full 7-day forecast coming up.
Great to see some of that relief finally. Thank you so much, Casey. And I will say, although some of that water is going down across the area, the main issue now is just a lot of debris that is washed around, as we saw in Malia and we saw Brianna's live shots there. So once again, we're going to see some of these roads open up. Let's talk about current travel, though. So we had 3 different crashes in the Austin Metro. All 3 of those have cleared out. So seeing some of our standard slowdowns here, I-35 heading into that downtown area, looking pretty good out in Round Rock. We do still have 2 different closures, one north of Del Valle and one south, but across the region still over 90 closures. So once again, really hoping we can get some of those shaved off today. Of course, the main focus is along the Guadalupe River in the Hill Country. We still have closures there. Mason County and 377, that is still active through London and Streeter and Hex today as well. We've got some of those county roads that are still impacted, and really just kind of feeling that. I know once again we heard from the Georgetown mayor that they're going to try to get the Austin Ave Bridge opened up along the San Gabriel River, so hoping for some improvements there. And that slowdown on I-35 in Georgetown did clear up. So, gradually, slowly but surely seeing some improvements out there.
All right, Hannah, thank you so much. Flooding's been an issue in Austin forever, and KVUE's Bob Buckaloo sat down with a UT meteorology professor and former KVUE meteorologist Troy Kimmel recently.
And he breaks down the key factors fueling the growing flood risk in central Texas.
We sit in flash flood alley. This is not something that's debatable. We lose more people here in flash flooding than just about anywhere else in the country on an annual basis. And this year is going to be, it's a disaster. And we're going to have to deal with that. And it goes back, Bob, to exactly what you're saying. Why is the Hill Country, why is the IH-35 corridor such a problem area? And there are 3 things that contribute to that. And the first is very obvious based on what you said, and that is it is the Texas Hill Country. And we have very hilly environment. It's a beautiful environment. It's one where low water crossings on a dry day are beautiful places to be, and to drive through the Hill Country, there's nothing like it. We have a treasure in that. Unfortunately, number 2 now, in those hills, in many cases, the soil layers are very shallow. It's a rocky limestone that comes almost to the surface. So all of a sudden now we have the hills, Bob, and we got this beautiful environment, but underneath what little soil there is, there's a lot of limestone. Well, the problem with that is when you start getting these excessively heavy rains, it hits the ground, the hills will cause it to go downhill. And guess how much of that water will soak in a flooding rain? Very little, because of the limestone layers. And as a result, we just take that flow off those hills and double it. And then you get it into creeks and streams, and you've got this channel, and we're off to the races. It creates these floods. Some of the horrific pictures that I've seen from law enforcement of some of these rivers as the wall of water came down is amazing. There's another thing, Bob, that we have to be considerate of in the Austin area, and especially in the wake of the Memorial Day floods in the early 80s, is there's another factor in addition to the hills and to the limestone layers. We also, in the I-35 corridor, right in that transition zone going for the Texas Hill Country, we are putting in so much impervious cover where we are laying down concrete, our urban growth in the city of Austin. This is the thing that scares me to death. Being with someone that sat in our KVUE weather office in the 80s, and we watched floods come down Shoal Creek in our backyard. And I'm telling you, those today will even be worse. Why? Because upstream on Shoal Creek, there's no more cattle land. It's all parking lots. How much of that water soaks into the asphalt or into the concrete? None of it does. So this is the third factor, associated urbanization in the eastern parts of the Hill Country and into the urban corridor of I-35. Bob, it's these 3 things that keep meteorologists awake in the flood events, and it just horrifies us. We know those 3 things are there, and it's not getting any better. Those hills are not going to go away. That subsoil limestone layer is not going to go away. And we're certainly not going to see less asphalt and concrete on this I-35 corridor. That's what really scares me, Bob. So I want people at home to realize that I think the National Weather Service, Austin, San Antonio, did a great job going in. Are there ways to make it better? Sure. There are ways every day that Troy Kimmel and Bob Buckaloo and other people, we can do things better in life. The Weather Service is the same. But for this event, for us to see blame of the Weather Service in New Braunfels, it's ill-advised, in my opinion. And I will tell you another thing too, Bob, and I'm hoping I can get through this, but if you don't think that office is devastated, you are wrong. They issued the warnings, and we have lost 43 lives, and the numbers continues to go up in Hunt County. We've lost lives in Travis County. We've lost lives in Williamson County. We've lost lives in Burnett County. And every one of those deaths affects those people. And I'll tell you, it affects me because we pass those warnings along, and we just hope that people can understand those warnings and that they can do something to save themselves. Those deaths affect all of us, down to the KVUE weather office and everyone in the newsroom, to emergency management, and to the meteorologist. I just want people to understand that this has been, for us, a disaster, and it's just something that's not acceptable. We've got to look in what went wrong, and we've got to make improvements.
He's right. It's about figuring out what we can do better, but not really necessarily blaming other people, but figuring out, okay, how can we learn from this?
Very good points, all, for sure.
Well, help from all over the country is pouring into the Kerrville area.
A family who unfortunately now knows what it's like to be devastated, to get that news about their child, is helping out. Amanda Henderson from our news partners in Houston shows us how a Uvalde family is now helping here.
Packing their trailer to the brim, Gloria and Javier Cazares loaded up their truck with their family, heading to Kerrville with help from Uvalde.
We see the missing children from the camps. It's heartaching, it's heartbreaking, it's gut-wrenching. We know exactly how those parents feel.
The couple's daughter is Jackie Cazares, one of the 19 students and 2 teachers tragically killed in the Robb Elementary mass shooting.
Just to know that your daughter's not coming home. We knew we had to help. We knew we had to do something.
And I know you guys said Kerrville was so kind to y'all when you guys were going through your darkest hours, and you said that's another reason why you guys wanted to be here in their darkest hours, to support them the same way they supported you guys.
Yes. Kerrville, we heard that name quite often, and they did. They supported us quite a bit.
So here they are, returning the favor, looking to help all impacted by the fatal Texas Hill Country floods, putting out a call for donations through a nonprofit in Jackie's name.
So our oldest daughter, Jasmine, has founded a nonprofit honoring her little sister, Jackie. Jackie's Loving Hands, and so it was her idea to just try to collect stuff.
We're doing this not for us, it's for the community, so again, whatever we can do to help out, reach out, and we'll do what we can.
And the public answered. The items including water bottles and dog food.
Jackie loved pets.
She also loved helping others in need.
A quick story about Jackie. She was a warrior. She worried on TV, seeing disasters, and she would always wonder, like, what happens to those people? And knowing that we can help out whenever we can, and in her honor, and of course we're going to do that.
Oh, that's so kind.
Wow.
That's another silver lining. People helping other people and remembering, you know what, they were here for me. I want to be there for them.
Powerful.
Oh. It is, yeah. And I mean, good to see, though, we are kind of quieting things down weather-wise. Good for those recovery efforts. I know they really have needed the drier weather. So we're looking at what's going to be at least a quieter forecast for the hardest hit areas as we head into the remainder of the work week. I would expect out the door right now, cloudy sky out across downtown. We are currently flood watch free, flood warning free. all of the above here across the area. Our radar currently quiet at the moment as well, and boy, is it good to see after we have dealt with days and days and days of unprecedented rainfall across much of the hill country. Showers and storms continue out across parts of the coast where we're currently tracking our next disturbance just south of the Louisiana coast. This is what will be bringing our next chance for showers and storms as we head into this afternoon. Here locally, this is the culprit for the days and days of rain. It's now finally pushing out of here. It's been meandering across central Texas through the weekend. This is what this little chunk of energy spun up that tight little area of low pressure that just sat over our area, bringing rounds and rounds of slow-moving bands of rain. And unfortunately, with that, dumped in some spots over 20 inches of rain over the holiday weekend. And unfortunately, that's what has led to the deadly flooding. That is out of here. Good riddance with that particular system. We're looking at this next one that's bringing showers out across the Louisiana coast. This will be bringing us the return of some showers and storms by this afternoon with some moisture being pushed in from the south and east. But because that moisture source is off to the east for today and not right overhead, our higher rain chances are going to be focused eastward. So coastal plains, it's your turn to see some showers and storms. Our hardest hit areas, the ones with the most catastrophic rainfall up through the hill country, Burnett County, western Williamson County, and western Travis County, going to be looking at a little bit more of a break. Showers and storms will start to trickle in after about 2-3 o'clock. Notice we will still have some heavy downpours, and I do think a few of those will wind up and down the I-35 corridor. Now Georgetown, we have massive flooding out from the San Gabriel River. A couple more showers possible. They will be possible today with quick amounts of 1 to 3 inches looking like a possibility through some of these storms. But the good news is they'll be quicker moving. These are not the kind of storms that are going to be stalling across an area for hours and hours. They'll be moving out away from the area and eventually will be winding down as we head into tonight. Tonight will be dry. Tomorrow morning will be dry. We will see the return of additional showers and storms as we get into 2-3 o'clock tomorrow. A few of them will be making their way out across the hill country most likely, but I still think the better chances are going to remain along and east of I-35 in the coastal plains before we really start to head into a much drier weather pattern for Thursday and Friday. High pressure will start to build in briefly for the end of the work week. That is going to mean dry weather Thursday, Friday. The sun is going to be out and shining. Temperatures are going to be warm. That should really help our soils dry up more and aid in some of that recovery process, although it will be hot for some of those first responders and those out there with the cleanup efforts, hot and also humid, so just keep that in mind. By Saturday, we will start to see the return of some isolated showers. Right now, those rain chances, though, for the weekend, only about a 20% chance. Highs today, 80s, low 90s out the door. Few passing clouds, those temperatures in the middle 70s as we head into tonight. Tomorrow, we're still keeping things below average when it comes to our high temperatures, but because we are going to be still pretty humid, still going to be feeling like we're going to be topping off in the upper 90s with that heat index in the afternoon. Allergy count today, grass and weeds low, mold high. I think this is going to be the case for the next several days thanks to all the moisture that we have had recently here over the past several days. 7-day forecast. Thursday and Friday we dry up. As I mentioned, Saturday and Sunday featuring a little bit of a chance for some isolated showers and storms. High temperatures average for this time of year is 96 degrees. For the next 7 days, we at least won't be getting to above that. We're remaining at and below average with highs topping off in the middle 90s.
Thank you so very much, Casey. It is great news to hear things drying out. Let's talk more if you are just joining us with the current driving conditions across the area. I am already seeing some of these roads reopening, which is really great to see as things are drying out. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the current closures still active near the Hamilton Pool area. We are still dealing with the closure here at Ranch Road 962 and, slowing things down right outside of Hamilton Pool and maybe any Bee Cave travelers. Bastrop Highway, though, and that Y area is still looking good, so that is great news. And you can see we still have some of our typical slowdowns on our major highways, but once again, really seeing some improvements out there. Of course, where we've had Brianna and we've had Malia out there live this week, still have some closures in that Sandy Creek area and then Leander, Gabriel Drive. We are still looking at a closure for y'all. Heading out towards Williamson County along the San Gabriel River, we're still having some issues there, but they were able to get County Road 259 opened up. That bridge, though, over the river, though, still closed, and a portion of 29 heading, really coming and going from the Jonah area, which is east of Georgetown. Still seeing some impacts there on 29, which kind of makes it hard to get around. That's really the only option for some folks in that stretch. Aside from that, east of there, out in Granger, we do also have An active closure on County Road 347 today. And then once again, right outside of Del Diamond, we've got one kind of north of it and south of it with those closures there. And that right now is on Harold Parkway, causing some issues there. And then hopefully we can get this one opened up as well on County Road 123. And then, of course, in Kerr County, I mean, I see that closure going on for a good while all along the Guadalupe River there as they are continuing those efforts with recovery in Kerrville and Hunt, Texas.
All right, before we go, here are 3 things to know on this Tuesday morning. The Kerr County Sheriff's Department says at least 84 people are dead in that county alone, 28 children. 13 people have died in Central Texas because of the flooding. Travis County officials confirm 7 people. Burnett County leaders say 4 people have died in that county and 2 were killed in Williamson County.
Governor Greg Abbott will be in Kerrville today. Governor Abbott and Speaker Dustin Burrows will take an aerial tour of the damage caused by the flooding as well as visit Camp Mystic. A briefing will follow with updates on response to the flooding, and that briefing is scheduled for 5 p.m.
Starting today, flood victims can stop by 3 different locations to pick up recovery kits from HEB, their pop-up sites. The locations are there on your screen. The 2 sites in Leander and in Burnett will be active from 8 a.m., so about 5 minutes they'll open up, and they'll go until 5 p.m. They'll remain in operation until further notice. The 3rd site is in Liberty Hill. They're going to open up this morning at 10 a.m. All 3 sites will hand out water, snacks, first aid kits, even cleaning supplies to flood victims.
We appreciate HEB for always giving back to the community, and so many organizations in and around town. I mean, they're all helping out, making different distribution efforts as well.
It's important for sure.
Well, thanks again for watching Daybreak Plus. Join us tomorrow on KVUE Daybreak from 4:30 to 7 a.m. on TV, and you can watch on our app for free.
That's right. The KVUE Plus app. Daybreak Plus continues from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. each and every weekday morning. We hope you have a good day.